Get down tonight. We're still a minute early. Hey, everyone, it's the happy hour. It's a minute before the happy hour, actually, so don't buy your drinks yet. Oh, it's just gone 9 o'clock my time. So it is officially the happy hour. 2 for 1, double bubble, drinks all around. I am Kristi here with my co-host, Kevin Logan, the master of the manosphere, is here on our channel, my channel, tonight. How are you, Kevin?
I am sensationally well. How the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm trying out the whole, trying to do some sort of witty thing, like the master of the manosphere. I don't know. How did it come across? Kind of tentative?
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan, but whatever. It's your channel. I don't care anymore.
It's like episode, I don't know, 50 something. At this point, we don't really even think too much about the intros. But
yeah, this is welcome my co-host, a human, Christie Winter. Like, who
cares? They know what they're coming for if they click on this. Just like Alex Jones did last time. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
No, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
And as well, as this is the arrest special, we should probably tell him that you've been arrested for stealing a mobility scooter and riding it down the highway, drinking wine out of a Pringles can.
Well, it was borrowed. Those charges were dropped, but the public disorderliness and public intoxication, those are still on the docket. Yeah. We're talking, of course, about my bucket list, one of my bucket list items. But that's not the only arrest I wasn't really arrested, that we're excited about tonight. We haven't talked about this too much other than to share notes that it happened and to agree to do the happy hour. So, Kevin, when you're done sort of settling in, rearranging and nesting around yourself, I don't know what you're doing. It sounds like you're getting comfy, though.
I'm made for comfort.
You are made of comfort. You want to give us your take on today's event?
Made of southern comfort.
Especially given your avatar is amazing.
Yeah, well, I can neither confirm or deny why I was in London today. I was just walking around Knightsbridge as you do. And I can't confirm or deny that I'm now taking up residence in the once occupied Ecuadorian embassy. I can't confirm or deny. Those rumours will just have to remain rumours, I think. Yes, Mr. Assange has been arrested after 7 fucking years, holed up, surrounded by kitten shit in the Ecuadorian embassy.
Yes, and being very obnoxious and rude to the people who are basically providing him sanctuary, according to the reports.
Yeah, literally threatening to sue them. And yesterday, his people came out and accused them of spying on him. Now, I don't know about you, but one of the ways I avoid being spied on in the Ecuadorian embassy is by not living in the fucking Ecuadorian embassy.
I mean, it is their house. It is their property.
But
they want to spy on you.
If you really don't want to be watched by the Ecuadorian embassy staff, don't live around them. So it's a very simple one. Everyone else on the earth has managed it.
And this picture you have of him is the one that should be on the headline, clips in Twitter and all over headlines, because that is what he is sort of represents to me right now.
Yeah, what could have been a moment where he showed bravery and stoicism in the face of, the people who he said were his enemies and were coming to get him. He could have walked out like a man. Instead, he's been dragged out, literally carried out of the embassy like a crazy old hermit, fucking wild man, hobo creature. It's just ridiculous. Look at him.
Should we see the creature he is? Should we see the video footage? Should I share my screen here? Because I wanted to explain this first because there's a meme that goes along with it, which is down here a little bit. Yeah. So back in March, Meghan McCain responded to a criticism from a woman named Denise someone or other. I guess we can look. And this Denise McAllister said, "Can someone explain to me the purpose of The View? It seems to me to be a roundtable of delusional mental midgets, ricocheting ignorance and lack of emotional regulation." And then Meghan McCain's reply to her was, "You were at my wedding, Denise." So that
That's genius.
yeah, that became a meme. And then I follow Chris Evans. I don't know if you know him on Twitter. He's got a pretty large following, but he had this tweet, which was just great. New sources tell The Guardian, as Assange was being dragged out of the embassy by police, he screamed at the arresting officer, "You were at my wedding, Denise."
Oh
So,
God, look at him. He's just, that's such a weird look. Just walk out the building with them, and
yeah.
it's just from start to finish. It's petty, cowardly nonsense,
And he's already been.
Oh, my camera's turned on.
Oh,
hello.
Hey, hey, Kevin. But it's locked on me, so only I can see you. Did you want to wave to the people? Because I can turn my thing off and you can talk. Just don't give him the finger. You have to say something and give him the finger. Oh, it's gone. The moment's gone.
Never mind. I always say something when I'm giving the finger. Absolutely don't mind.
But I can attest to the fact that yes, Kevin was giving everyone the finger, to the chat probably. So.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, back to Assange. Anyway, God, I suppose we should explain the story. He was originally wanted for sex crime allegations in Sweden, but because he was in Britain, extradition, they have a fast track extradition because they were both, and we both still are EU nations many weeks after we shouldn't have been. But anyway, we'll get onto that later. And so he was, put through the trial, and but was given bail as the trial was ongoing. And he skipped bail by seeking asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy 7 fucking years ago, and so that's what he's now been arrested for. But the Ecuadorian embassy had gotten so sick of him, and the Ecuadorian government was so sick of his bullshit. Look, he was been told specifically, don't engage in political activity because that's uncomfortable, and the Ecuadorian government have put themselves out for him, so maybe just comply with the fucking rules. But no, he decided to be a prick about it. And so they basically said to the British government, because you have to have permission to go in because it's Ecuadorian land, so it would be technically an invasion by the British government,
right?
Without permission. So they invited them in, and like I say, rather than walking out with any dignity, he was carried out genuinely like a mental patient, kicking and screaming. I don't know what he's doing. It's so strange.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, all I can say is I cracked open my ultra nano violin for this one. And I was terribly upset for him. Like, what a gobshite.
One part of the story we should probably mention as well is that while he was sat in the Ecuadorian embassy, the statute of limitations ran out on the charges that were being sought against him or had been filed against him in Sweden, and so that case has been...
No, well, technically not statute of limitations.
Okay.
What happened was they found, because it was sort of pointless going forward with the investigation in his absence, because that wasn't, they were never going to get a conviction in his absence. They closed the case, but that can apparently be reopened.
Good.
We're so inclined, but it's sort of pointless being bothering because, but it's pointless bothering because the US government are going to seek his extradition.
Yeah, I guess well, the thing is, I've been watching the news too, and one point someone in the media raised on this is that there have been several cases where British hackers have hacked people in the United States, actually hacked them, and the United States has asked for extradition, and the UK has declined to extradite them or send them off. So I don't know if it's a guarantee that the judicial system is going to comply with the American request.
Well, two points on this. Okay. Firstly, Julian Assange is quite lucky that he's been arrested by the British government, because Britain does not extradite to countries where a person is liable to be either tortured or executed, which he could be.
Not for the crime that he's been.
So, but apparently there have been tripartite talks between the Ecuadorians, the British, and the Americans, and America has given a legal guarantee that he would not face the death penalty.
I don't even think the death penalty is a charge for hacking. I think,
Well, it's not so much hacking, is it? It's like espionage or whatever. Technically could, I believe, face that. And the British government doesn't do that. So you're welcome, Julian, by the way. They're Britain actually looking after your life, you fucking gobshite. And secondly, he's not a British citizen. So in terms of a duty of care, the British government don't really give that much of a fuck. We're more reticent to send a British citizen because it's a British citizen, whereas this man's an Australian. So it's, I think, fairly likely that they will seek his extradition and put him in jail forever. It seems to me.
Possibly. We'll have to see whether or not the United States brings any charges. Now that, well, I mean, the Mueller investigation is wrapped up, but there might be ancillary, like with the Roger Stone case, for instance, there might be some relevance there.
Well, I think there will be, considering they've gone after Chelsea Manning in the way
that is true.
It seems very likely that the sort of bigger, higher up guy of Assange will definitely be. I think the US government has shown itself, regardless of the president, and actually the president doesn't give a fuck really.
Well,
that they'll go after him.
This is it. He said he loved WikiLeaks, and Barr is the attorney general who would be, making some of the decisions, I'm sure, in terms of priority of cases or how to handle it, because he's the top dog now. And when Chelsea Manning went to prison, that was like 2010. It was before all of the Russian interference stuff. So Trump I think this actually kind of puts the Trump administration in a more awkward position, not a less awkward position, to be honest.
Well, no. Well, she's in jail now, Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, yes, and for the same conspiracy with Julian Assange, right? But Trump, is the one who said, "I love WikiLeaks. I love WikiLeaks."
Well, yeah, he said loads of stuff. I don't think it matters, does it? Like it doesn't matter. He said it more than 2 hours ago, so it's irrelevant to what he thinks now.
I just wonder if they're.
And as we.
Oh, go ahead.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say.
I was just going to say, it seems.
Lag. It's lag. You go.
No, you go.
I'm the host. I have control. You go.
Oh God. Anyway, we've seen with Trump supporters that it doesn't matter what he said in the past. You can show them clips of him literally saying a thing. They'll go, "Oh no, it doesn't matter. It didn't say, it's fake news." So it doesn't matter that he once supported WikiLeaks, or at least claimed to support WikiLeaks. I think with the power of the kind of industrial, I think it seems inevitable that or the extradition will be sought. Obviously, there's nothing guaranteed, but I think he will be extradited, and he'll never see the light of day again. Which, to me, again, you chose your bed, you lay in it, mate. You got Trump elected, so fuck you.
In terms of, there's only one charge he's facing, which is a conspiracy to hack the DoD thing. So unless they bring more charges against him, there would be only one charge. I can't imagine that's going to be, a life sentence for that. I'm sure that it's double digits because it's a federal crime, but I don't think he'd be going away.
Well, I think it seems obvious to me that he could be considered espionage. I think.
Well, okay.
With America's enemies
things. But then we get into his role as a journalist, and
more that they could.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm sure there's more they could bring against him and will.
Right, but this is one of the other elements that I was watching on Haley Jackson on MSNBC that one of the other reporters brought up, and that's that there's a reason why the Justice Department only filed charges on the hacking and not on the dissemination of the information, because Assange is, he calls himself a journalist, and while there is a federal statute that would allow people to be charged for espionage if they disseminated classified information, those charges have never been brought against a journalist because of the First Amendment. So it's very unlikely that they will bring. Wait, let me just finish. It's very unlikely that they'll bring any kind of espionage or dissemination of classified material charges against Assange because he will have First Amendment rights as a journalist. And the journalists themselves would get up in arms because the long practice has been journalists do publish classified information and they don't get arrested for it.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned,
well, I know, but
I don't consider it a journalist.
But I think
I know the law probably does, but I really don't.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but that's why he wouldn't get espionage charges, according to the people who are talking on MSNBC, for what that's worth. So But they are journalists
Well, yeah,
with
and
a
also,
vested interest.
yeah,
So.
and I have to say, it's also, I mean, what poisons my mind against him is the fact that he was accused of sexual assault and decided to skip out on that. Now,
Yeah.
he's claimed that, he couldn't get a fair trial. A, you have no evidence to suggest you couldn't get a fair trial. But B, also, let's just hypothetically assume for a second that he was guilty of that. How could we bring him to justice then? Would that mean he's just above the law now, regardless of what he's ever done?
Yep. That's what he's trying to be, above the law.
Well, then the law doesn't apply to him anymore. No, fuck that noise. And like I say, if you run away from something like that to the point where you live inside what is not a particularly big office in the centre of London for 7 fucking years to the obvious detriment of your health and well-being, in order to avoid those charges, I mean, obviously I don't believe in there's no smoke without fire, but if you run away from that situation, it makes me think less well of you. Like the likelihood I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt is slim.
Yeah, and Sweden is not known for its kangaroo courts. You know, we're not talking about...
No, it's known for its meatballs and blonde hair.
Not for its corrupt criminal prosecutions.
And
Yeah,
its cultural Marxisms.
Lots of that, yeah. Oh my goodness. So, from this British news story, should we segue that into the most recent update in the saga, the ongoing story of a country that's going to the dogs? Brexit. What's happened lately, Kevin?
It's never ending. It's never going to finish. It's just going to be here forever. In 100 years' time, the reanimated robot corpse of Theresa May will try the millionth attempt to get her deal through, and the European Union, which will probably be on fire, I imagine, will have granted us a 10 millionth extension to the year 2020,740,000. Yeah, it's never ending. Basically, we were supposed to leave on the 20-something of last month. That didn't happen. We were
Nope.
supposed to be leaving tomorrow, literally tomorrow. That isn't happening.
Nope.
We've been given an extension to October the 31st, which is literally Halloween. It's like they're trolling us. Like ridiculous.
I was thinking while you were saying...
Negotiating that in costume, perhaps. Theresa May literally turns up as a robot. I don't know. Angela Merkel comes dressed up as a slutty nurse, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, that would be fun. Anyway, so I don't know quite why they're even bothering, because this is a halfway house. Basically, the Conservatives wanted a shorter extension or no extension at all and crash out because they don't really care. Rich enough to take the blow to what would be crippling to the economy. Most people wanted a longer extension to actually sort something out, and this is a halfway house kicking the can down the road. That's literally all this is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never ending. It's never going to end. And the mood music was, again, when they were asked, oh, well, could they extend again after October the 31st? And rather than going, no, we want this sorted, they just went, well, under the rules of Article 50, oh no, it's never gonna stop.
Like I said off air,
Anyway.
It's the worst soap opera ever.
Yeah, and played out with actors who, I mean, you're supposed to have like good guys and bad guys in a soap opera. I despise all of the people involved in this. They're just annoying. Oh, they're just, I hate it. I hate it all.
When you kept...
It's just so embarrassing. The government literally out there begging, and Angela Merkel having to come to our rescue. What happened there? Weren't we like a powerful country once? Didn't we have some semblance of like self-respect and backbone to ourselves? Whereas now it's like, we'll go and just beg them. And I mean, literally having the Prime Minister have to step out of the room for 5 hours as they discuss it, and then they call back in and like, deal we're going to offer you. Like, long ago. Like, we're a permanent member of the UN Security Council. So why have we backed ourselves into the corner now where Emmanuel Macron is really embarrassing? The whole thing is a national embarrassment.
The way you kept saying never ending made me think I'm sorry, I'm getting some feedback for some reason, but it made me think of that movie. Was it from the 80s, Never Ending Story, with the kid on the big flying? Have you seen that, or am I just really old? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I was thinking more like Groundhog Day.
Oh, that would also work.
Every day we wake up. Every day we wake up and there's another extension, and you think, oh well, it's never leaving. And not just that, but it means that the supposedly meaningful votes that they're having in Parliament are meaningless. Because if you have 10 of them, they're not really that meaningful, then are they?
What's going on with the negotiations?
Aren't deadlines.
What's going on with the negotiations now between Labour and the Conservatives?
Well, now the immediate pressure's off. There's no point bothering. They're going on Easter holiday. They're literally going to have a week off, which I don't mind particularly because it was planned anyway. Like, it's not like they've decided, oh fuck it, let's not bother now. But like, they were literally possibly getting somewhere, or at least pretending to get somewhere. Whereas now they're just going to go off on a week's holiday and come back and forget about it. I think, like, it literally is just kicking the can down the road. There's no plan here. I don't know how this gets resolved outside of a general election, which might be indecisive, or another referendum, which might be disastrous. I don't know how any of this gets solved. So we're basically exactly where we were 3 years ago, really. I mean, we have like potentially a deal that could get passed, but it won't get passed because it's shit.
Yeah, you guys are stuck.
So, really.
Yeah, I'm getting.
And it's really, like I say, it's really embarrassing and just draining now. And the country's beginning to feel a little bit like a tinderbox waiting to go up. There's a lot of tension, a lot of anger, a lot of angst. Like I don't like needles, right? When you go to the doctors or whatever, but the waiting for the needle is always way worse than any pain. And that's sort of how it feels like if whatever's going to happen, can it just fucking happen already? The vote was 3 years ago and we just was nowhere. Nothing's happened. Do something or don't, but don't keep us waiting forever. Like, it's so annoying. Anyway,
it feels a lot like that not really great student who keeps coming and asking for more extensions and more extensions, and you just know, like, you're not writing. You're not doing anything with your time. I know you're just kicking this can down the road, and then you're going to start the night before it's due and start scribbling stuff, and then come in the morning it's due and ask for another extension.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, these cross-party talks, if they'd started 6 months ago, we might be somewhere. But they wait till literally the last fucking second, and then they do another extension, and now another extension, which means we're now probably going to have to fight European elections, in theory, so that we would have MEPs for 5 months. In theory, like, what? It's going to be like £100 million to organise that election for MPs for 5 months. You're taking the piss. What the? It's, oh god, what the fuck? And now, I mean, those elections are going to be such a shit show. That, oh my god, all of the parties are riven by this. I mean, the Tories especially, it's going to be just a bloodbath. They in Parliament, for those who don't know, when the Prime Minister goes to one of these like European or international like G8 or G20 meetings, when she gets back, or generally but when she gets back, she gives a statement to the House of Commons, to the Parliament, about what went on and what progress was made, what deals were cut, and all the rest of it. And it's always raucous, and she always gets criticised. But this, I mean, for a start, she had this attitude of like she succeeded at something, even though she said 108 times, it was counted, 108 times she said we were leaving on March the 29th. And it's now the 11th of April. And we're now due not to leave for another, 7 months or something? Like, it's just ridiculous. Oh god! And people like the Sir William Cash, Bill Cash, quite a well-respected guy in Parliament, literally called for the Prime Minister to resign. That's of her own MPs.
It's a mess.
It's just fighting these European elections is going to tear the Tories apart. and I'm so here for it. If anything good comes out of this, hopefully it joins the Tory party.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
At least yours are fighting amongst themselves. Republicans mostly seem in lockstep with Trump, which is more terrifying, I think. But
yeah, that's the thing. In America, you've got these checks and balances, but they're not working, whereas we don't, and it's sort of been, by and large, working. But there's a bit of a bump in the road at the moment. Let's not pretend.
There's
but it's not because the government's too powerful. It's quite opposite.
there's less norm breaking, though.
Yeah.
Trump is breaking all kinds of norms as to what the executive should restrain himself from doing. And Theresa May is still, they're acting within, mostly, except for the loss of confidence and then still running the government. That's probably the biggest norm I can think of that's been violated.
Well, ultimately, yeah, that's the thing. We have a government in theory. That's it. I mean, they're not actually governing. They don't command a majority. They don't command the competence of the parliament. It's just that they're far too divided to actually decide to perform the coup. So
yeah, your mic, you just muted yourself for some reason, Kevin. I don't know if you meant to do that. Should I go ahead and unmute you? I can't.
Oh, sorry, I was just cut. Apologies. Yeah, that's.
You're really breaking.
Yes, but thank you for bringing attention to that, Kristi. I was being not diplomatic. What's the word? Professional.
Okay, sorry. Also, you're breaking up a lot too. I don't know why, but.
Oh, well, breaking's hard to do. That's all I can say.
So
anyway,
your country's in
are we done talking about? Yeah. Well, and to transition from that, it seems that may well get his state visit to Britain in July or something. I can't remember. So
that would be a big source of agitation and protests again. For sure.
Yeah, because consternation is not in short supply as it is. So I don't know why they would invite him particularly.
Yeah, why even incite people even more? That seems to be ridiculous. But maybe I'll go back over and see the Trump baby again. So that would be fun.
Trump baby. Well, yeah. Well, didn't the Trump baby bring to America? So I don't know, like another one or one, and we'll bring it back.
I think they would have to bring the original Trump baby back to greet Trump. That would just have to be how it worked. It'd have to be. Or they can make a second one. We could adopt the Trump baby.
Get a fleet of Trump baby blimps. Get a Trump baby blimp armor and have one in each city, so no matter where he goes, there's always a reminder.
Who's that guy who lives next to his golf course in Scotland who doesn't like him very much? Just put it up there permanently.
Yeah.
Next to the golf course. But yeah, Trump. I don't. It's the whole, when you're the boiling frog in water, whether you do it slowly or quickly. It's when did Trump turn into
with Kev? You always do it quickly.
Running a fascist government. I mean, today, I think, or was it yesterday? Trump was saying that he wanted Barr. He was happy that Barr was going to do an investigation of how the Mueller investigation even started. He called what happened to him a coup against his government and said it was treason. And this is the language of tyranny. And it really does point to the fact that he won't give up power peacefully.
I think he's the legal expert.
But he is the
president. Yeah, I think that's certainly the bad signs of that, yeah.
Yeah, and he does have a rabid, let's say 30% of the country who are also probably heavily armed, who believe everything he says, or don't care enough about checking what he has to say because they like what he does.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, you can tell that when he went to see went to the border the other day to see essentially a renovated piece of pre-existing wall and said, "Oh, well, we're finished wall." No, that was a renovation of something that existed before you even ran president.
Yeah, he just lies.
Been there. You didn't build shit. No. And his fans were like, "Yeah, we're building."
No, he just lies all the time.
Building the wall here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and while he was.
Yeah, but his fans don't care. That's what I mean. So the fact that he said, "I love WikiLeaks" is relevant because he said that more than an hour ago. So.
Well, sorry, I was going to say something. It's what he said while he was at the wall, that it was some sort of like disaster and he was going to have to deploy more troops. And it just reminded me, I really want to, I'm going to start on my weekend show a campaign to bring the troops home from the border. This is ridiculous. People have been at the border since I was back in the States for the election, for the supposed caravan that was coming before the November elections that never turned up. And they've been there ever since, and it's ridiculous. It's going to cost like $6 million. For what? Absolutely nothing. For Trump's political stunt, and these people are away from their families. It's ridiculous. We don't need a militarized border in the United States. So I'm gonna create a hashtag or something. I'm pissed about this. This is enough. So Trump is a
That's the thing,
tyrant.
but well, he is absolutely, and his threats to close down the Mexican border. Well,
Yes,
if you can control it to that degree, there's clearly not a crisis. If you can just shut it down, why haven't you?
and
Look, well, obviously you have control over the border. Then it's not a problem. It's just you've decided not to employ that control the border before,
while he's
so it's your
claiming
fault.
there's a national emergency, he's also firing the head of, his departments that are in charge of Homeland Security. So how much of a crisis can
Yeah,
it really be?
Nielsen was garbage. Who saw the deaths of children in U.S. custody and the separations of hundreds, and indeed the separation and losing of hundreds of innocent children somewhere in the United States, God knows
Ongoing.
where, who may never be reunited with their families now, which is chillingly fascistic. And
Criminal, in
apparently
my
that wasn't
opinion.
enough. Apparently she was too nice. She was too nice to the immigrants. Apparently that was why she got fired. Amazing.
According to the reporting, Trump wants his people to break the law. He'll say
Yeah.
do something, and they'll say, no, we can't do that because you signed an executive order ending family separation, or the courts told us we can't do that, and he wants them to break the law for him. Because that's what Trump expects. We saw it with Michael Cohen.
Well,
He's
that's what
just
he's
being
always.
himself.
That's always been his business model.
Yep.
It's always been his modus operandi, constantly throughout his adult life. He wants absolute loyalty, but he's unprepared to give that loyalty back, which is always. It's always fascinating that people give him that loyalty, knowing how he essentially will shit on you when you're no longer convenient for him.
Yep.
And yeah, he wants you to commit crimes on his behalf, and
Millions
they do
of
it all the time.
millions of Americans voted a criminal into the White House. And now I have real serious reservations about how we're going to get him out.
Yeah, I still think if push came to shove, I think the US military would enforce the law. If like he refused to leave, voted out, I think. But who knows? Maybe not.
I hope so. I hope
I don't know.
it's where I feel like we're entering uncharted territory here. All of Trump's
Yeah, well,
presidency has been uncharted territory, really. So
true. That is true. But I mean, there is, to a degree, there is something, and this is going to sound callous, perhaps, but I think it's a point worth making. Considering how many democratic governments the US has overthrown, it seems, dare I say, a little churlish for the Americans to turn around and go, "Oh no, no, despot." Well, you've created enough of them, so it's
you understand why I don't
that
really
sounds
think
nasty,
that's
but you know what I mean.
destroying a democracy isn't really an answer to the interference
No,
in.
I'm not saying it's an answer to anything, and I'm not for a second defending Trump. I'm just saying the amount of autocracy enforced upon the rest of the world, like the whole of Latin America, going, well, fuck you. You've overthrew our democratic governments. Why should we care? Like that's, you know what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm not saying what Trump is doing is correct or anything of the sort, but it's sort of you can't help but feel America's getting a little bit of comeuppance in a sense. There's certain symbolic Schadenfreude, possibly, in some part.
If you
But
want a
anyway,
fascist in the White House, but yeah.
no. Don't be no. That's not what I'm suggesting in the slightest, and I think you know that.
Okay. Well, enjoy your Schadenfreude then. I like my democracy, so I'm mourning it.
Schadenfreude at all. I'm saying there are a lot of people who, in the third world, who have been fucked over, who probably don't give a shit. Is making. I'm not saying I don't give a shit.
Okay. So speaking of shits, I have a topic we can turn to, which is not Trump
Okay,
fascism.
is this a bowel movement thing now?
Well, depends. I thought we could
Because
talk
I thought
about.
we were sharing those videos privately. That's
I thought we could talk about the Candice Owens appearance. In
yeah,
Congress.
she's interesting, isn't she?
Yes, and Ted, I think it's I pronounce like a French way because it looks like Lieu to me, but I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. But he
Well, I thought it
played.
was just Lou.
Yeah, but I have that
Ted
French
Lou.
influence. Lieu, like a place in French. Anyway, he played
Good for
her.
her. And
Yeah, he played her Hitler clip to her. And this is the ridiculous
yeah.
thing. She was at, oh, actually, you could talk about this actually, Kevin, because your guest on your recent interview was there. You can plug that too, if you want to talk about.
Yes, yes, Jared Holt of Far
Yeah.
Right Watch, or Right Wing Watch, I should say, who was actually at the appearance on Capitol Hill, there watching it live as Candice Owens accused Ted Lieu of being racist, which is interesting, considering she basically doesn't seem to think that racism exists,
Well, the
apart
way,
from
yeah.
a left-wing person criticizes her, and then
And
then they're a racist. Yeah.
and the way she tried to do it was so dumb because what she said wasn't even like, okay, so what she said was, Ted Lieu must think all black people are stupid because he only played 30 seconds of the clip. And he just played it for the public. Like, what did black people have to do with any of that? And it had nothing to do with it because he just played it out there for everyone to listen
Well,
to.
that's
And the only reason she threw black people in was to justify
well,
calling him a racist. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Well, you can tell she really hates identity
Yeah.
politics when her only defense is I'm black. Okay, well, I don't care. I just don't care. You go away. You know, it's like with Dave Rubin. Well, I can't be a racist because I'm Jewish. I don't care. Of course, you can be racist. What are you talking about? I can't be homophobic. I like dick. Yeah, you can. Look at fucking Milo Yiannopoulos, the most racist, homophobic individual in the world who loves black dick. Like I don't care.
And what was ridiculous was that Candice was up there again with people from Facebook and Google and like people who are professionals who run and manage companies. And her qualifications is she has a lot of people that follow her on
don't.
Twitter.
Well, I do know why she was there because the Republicans are ridiculous, but she had no business being there.
Well, her
She had no.
business.
There was nothing she was going to offer. She was nothing. She had nothing to offer to the conversation. She had no expertise. She has no real direct influence over, like, businesses or anything. She's just a grifter. She's
But
just a shyster.
you know what she did offer Republicans, though, was her quote saying that the Southern strategy was a myth.
Even though we have quotes from the person who instituted it,
Saying that it happened.
Nixon's political advisor, not just saying that it happened, but how it happened and why it happened and how they implemented it. But apart from that, yeah, good point, Candice.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is how they derail
it's not as if we have. It's not as if we have like a rack of smoking guns there. No, it's fine.
No, it's just she gets up there, she draws the attention, she changes the conversation away from white supremacy to find reasons to call people racists and to deny that systematic racism, which as you said, the people who developed it admitted that's what they did in order to create a cover for white supremacy.
Yeah. But Kristi.
Sorry, you dropped out entirely there. You're going to have to restate your question.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, did you know that the tides don't happen?
Yes. Tide goes in, tide goes out.
You might say, well, actually the water comes in high on the beach in the evening and then it goes out again. No, that's fake news. Fake news.
Yeah.
Cultural Marxisms have made you believe that. It's George Soros.
But look for more of this.
I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic, but it's the Jews that did it. So.
But yeah. Thanks, Nick.
And I can't be racist because I'm white. So.
But look for the Republicans to do more of this. Just basically throw up ridiculous people who are attention-seeking to take away attention from legitimate issues about racial justice and civil rights that Democrats are trying to put a spotlight on. And this is how they're going to try to distract us away from things that undermine our democracy. I mean,
Yeah. And let's be honest, also, she was there as a token. She's a black person prepared to spout hateful white people's views.
she wasn't there because she has a business degree or qualifications, or she's in charge of media companies that have white supremacists on them. She's literally just, like funded by conservatives. Those are her qualifications.
Yeah. 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 By very rich ones, while saying that she's anti-establishment. Amazing. The amount of people funded by billionaires who think they're anti-establishment. Yeah, well done. Well done, guys.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought that would be a good thing to bring to this show. Did you see anything that you remembered in particular, or should we just keep going down my feed?
She lives like a capitalist every day, Cenk. So.
What? Sorry?
She's friends with Charlie. She works for Turning USA as well.
Yes, she does. Sorry, the way that
it's just a joke. Never mind.
No, your mic cut out initially, and it sounded like a racial slur, and I'm sure that I knew that wasn't what you said, so I needed to make sure we got it.
Oh no, I said she lives like a capitalist every day, Cenk.
Right. Okay.
What did you think I said? What?
No, I can't say it on air because it would be offensive. All right, so let's see what we've got.
I'll type it in the side chat then, because I need to know what it sounded like. Because so I'm sure someone will cut it out and clip it and say like, "Oh,
well,
Kevin
I don't know.
Hogan
It was roboty as hell, so I don't think so." No, because if I type this up, it might pop up over my thing, and I don't want it to accidentally pop up on the screen. So I'll just tell you after the show. Oh yes. So this again is Chris Evans, which is
okay. My thing pop up. You can make my thing pop up randomly if you want to. That's fine.
Anyway, he was pointing out this great little bit here. If you watch the Candice Owens video, which is here as you're going along, we don't really need the sound. We can just have this because he's playing her clip. And then there's a woman, you'll see her in the back. She's taking pictures, and he, here. I guess if you want to, might as well just turn the sound on. I don't know how loud this is going to be, so we'll see how this goes. But wait, then I have to change the location of the sound to my external screen, and now you guys will be able to hear it. Okay, except if I need to put the sound on.
My first question is to Ms. Hirschenoff. Ms. Owens said that...
Yeah. All right. So anyway, sorry. Watch the woman taking the pictures.
Think about at least in America.
Fuck's sake, this has gone really well.
But if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German. Everybody to be German.
Yeah. So he.
That is like the what? Yeah. What the fuck, man?
Her face is perfect. Like,
they just like, what the fuck?
Did you just say that about Hitler? What?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Twitter's occasionally a good thing.
Very occasionally, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I didn't look ahead too much on this, so maybe I don't have that much more interesting. But that was at least, those two stories were quite interesting. But do you want to talk a little bit more? We've got, I don't know, another 15 minutes if we want to keep going for it. About your Jared Holt thing a bit more? How that went?
I suppose, but I mean, what we could do is something we haven't done ever, is actually talk to the chat.
Oh.
We haven't done that in forever.
Okay. Do you have them up, the chat up, or shall I get them up? I'll do it on my computer because you just have to give me a second to get there. So, yeah. So people in the chat, if you have stuff to say,
you were given a $2 super chat, but then the message was deleted. So I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe they went, no, I didn't mean to give her money.
Well, no, I don't know if the $2 has been deleted, but just the message was deleted. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So have we got questions or anything, people? I don't know.
Yeah, we've been chatting about asking the chat long enough for the lag now for them to catch up with us. So.
No, it's less than 2. What?
Oh, there's the chat. I can pop out the window now. pop out the chat. Okay. Oh, F's sake.
Yes, thank you to some random geek in the chat for put the Jared Holt link in the sidebar if you want to go and check.
Okay, I've got the chat up now. Yay! Kevin should dab on camera. I did see a really funny weatherman doing a dance. That would be good. Are you going to dab for us? I have to turn.
No, I'm fucking not. What are you talking about? No.
That was a request from the chat.
What part of what? Well, the chat can suck a dick. Fucking dab on camera. Bless them.
People are liking your picture, Kevin.
Well, thank you. It's good tourist photos, you know.
Oh my, that's unusual, says yo yo yo.
Yo.
Jenna wants to know how. Yep.
How is Rory? It's not so much how is Rory Katz, but who is Rory Katz? Does anyone really know? He's an inscrutable character.
A friend of mine who
is asleep.
Studied philosophy was hanging out with some kids, like he was doing like a babysitting thing, whatever, and there was a cat at the house, and the kid turns to him and goes, "Does the cat know it's a cat?" And my philosopher friend just went, "Oh, there are so many different ways I could answer that." So does Rory know he's a cat?
Yeah. I'm convinced that cats think that everything else is a cat, just a different type of cat.
That I could see that being actually pretty true.
Yeah, look, I live with Kev, who's just a big tall cat.
A hairless cat.
Oh, that's literally, they just think, yeah.
Well, occasionally he gets very,
exactly. And he doesn't even sit there licking his bollocks in front of TV. What a mental case. God. I've not seen him once start running around the house at 3 a.m. What's wrong with him? Jesus.
Someone talked about, I don't know, if the Faraday Speaks chap. I don't know, maybe they're just talking about people in the chat now. They're so unaccustomed to being talked to.
Oh, Faraday Speaks is...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they talk amongst themselves all the time. Yeah, Faraday Speaks is an interesting chap. He was part of, he was basically an all-right guy who and is now like a sort of vaguely progressive chap. I think I don't know his exact politics, but he's certainly a lot better now. And he made a really interesting video about the pipeline that takes you down by the kind of YouTube algorithm and various other things that sort of funnels you towards those extreme contents of the internet and stuff. So yeah, you should probably go and check that out. He's very good. Yeah.
Orion in the chat was asking, I think maybe for some comment on our reaction to the idea that YouTube had to shut down the comments on the live stream of the House committee hearing on white supremacy. Had you heard that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was fascinating example of how shitty YouTube has become because of its own algorithm and stuff. Is that the live stream of them being accused of aiding and abetting white supremacy, so they had to shut down the comments for it. It's amazing. It's like YouTube is fully aware of its problem and is prepared to do nothing about it. Even like Red Ice TV, the notorious fucking Nazi shitstorm channel on YouTube, which I don't know how they still have a channel, but they do, and fully monetized, it would appear. They were doing a live stream, like watching along and talking about this, in which they had many super chats of the 14 words, the famous Nazi phrase, and YouTube was fine with that. YouTube was literally making money from white supremacy whilst claiming that they weren't aiding and abetting white supremacy.
The comments, I mean, what was a surprise to me was that anyone was surprised it's happening on YouTube, because they're not watching the kind of stuff that we sometimes research to keep up on the dramas, although all of the IBS just seems to have completely imploded now. But if you listen to, or if you watch cognitive thoughts stuff on YouTube, you're going to hear N-bombs constantly and all kinds of racist stuff, and in the comments as well as on air.
And Confucius.
And Confucius as well. Yeah, lots of that. But
Yeah.
I'm like, why are people surprised? Oh, because they're seeing it now, but it's there. It's there all the time. You know, and YouTube, like I said, just they shut it down because it was embarrassing, but they're not going to do anything to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, I do know what an Ethernet cable is, and I'm going to order one so that the internet's not as shit.
Yay!
But I don't know what the internet is. It's a series of tubes where the little pixie people carry the internet for you.
That happens, yeah.
I think that's how it works.
So anyway, someone put an article to it, and it's the CNBC story. Some random geek, of course, are sort of everyone. We called him. He doesn't know this. Some random geek, but in the Culture Club episode before we went on air, he was putting out like links to the show and stuff, and on Twitter. And I called him. He's like the YouTube left town crier. He shows up and he like sort of like tells everybody like, "Hey, this is go over here." Yeah, he's like the town crier.
He is, yeah, very, very good. Yeah, I love that. yeah, always say, like, oh, these are links to important things.
Yeah,
like, oh, that's awesome.
Exactly.
It's like the oh god, showing my age, you know, the old paperclip thing.
Oh
that used
yes,
to pop up,
icon.
would you like help with this thing? But with actual stuff you did want to click on, rather than just get the fuck off my screen, you annoying little prick, fucking paperclip cunt. Like, it's actually sort of, oh, well, that's an interesting article about such and such, or oh, that's a good GoFundMe. I'll drop £1 in that. That's fine. Although actually, I got on that note, I got a nice little pun during the week unintentionally from Mike Stutchbury, who was advertising a GoFundMe for the Vagina Museum in London, and said, "Why not give it £1 or two?" To which I had to say, was that pun intentional? Apparently it wasn't. But I got clapped. The Vagina Museum in London clapped my joke. I thought it was funny.
There you go.
That could have been. They could have seen that as like a bit sexist or whatever, but it wasn't intended to be. Yeah. It's just it was a funny way of wording it.
Yeah. It was just a you know, you weren't making the joke yourself. You were responding and turning it into a joke. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. This is actually a good one. 250 asks, because 250's a regular. I don't have to say his whole handle or her whole handle. I don't know. And ladies, NBs, and gents, what do you guys think of Steve's Sam Harris video? Have you watched that one, Kevin?
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard on the grapevine it's rather good.
I've seen it. I very much enjoyed it.
Is it good?
Yes, it's very good and very thorough, and with Steve's usual commitment, honesty, and passion. So I strongly recommend it. I also saw today, this is like the rapprochements of rapprochements. Dusty had tweeted out something along the lines of, well, people keep comparing me to Steve Shives. What has he ever actually done besides block people? It's bad. And then they like, because there was bad blood. There's like, they weren't talking, and they're talking on Twitter. And I'm very glad, because I like Steve and I like Dusty, and I like it when two people that I like also get on. So that,
well, I don't know. I don't keep up with white people Twitter.
Well, yes, fair enough. So yeah, I was happy to see that exchange happening, and I had to go in and throw some elbows on Steve's behalf. And people were like, "Hey, he blocks me," and like, he blocks because he was being harassed by people you follow, and support. So fuck you. And
all these wankers who do this, like Chris Reagan and Dankula and all these cunts, who are going about, oh, Chris, Steve just blocks people. They block loads of people. I know loads of people who block.
I'm blocked by Dankula. I have been for ages.
Oh yeah. No way! What a fucking dick! Well, you gotta be a bitch about it, Dank. Fuck's sake! Like you're so edgy. You block a doctor living in Germany. Fuck off.
Yeah, and so when people went to me about Steve, I'm like, bye. Like I'm not gonna cry about who blocks me. This is Twitter. People can use a block button. Get over it. It's not all about you.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna have to poke Dankler about that, because that's ridiculous. Like, oh, I'm gonna take on the state. Oh, but no, there's a political scientist living in Cologne. No, run away! Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah, he's so. Oh God, he's fearless, isn't it?
Oh, did you see his interaction with Destiny?
Oh yeah, well he's still really unbelievably butthurt about getting slapped around in that debate a year ago.
Was that the one?
Because someone pointed out, like,
Sorry.
No, go on, sorry.
Well, this was the one, I think it was Zeb. I don't know if they found the ones, but it's where he's saying Antifa commits more violence because he's seen videos on YouTube. He's seen lots of videos of Antifa committing violence.
Yeah.
That the one?
That's the one, yeah. Yeah,
and
he's still so mad. He's so unbelievably salty about it a year later. Like, oh, the Destiny fans don't even listen. They don't even listen to what I have to say. God, you people are like a cult. And you think, you're screaming about this on Twitter at 3 a.m, man. Just chill.
And also, he was wrong,
Look, it's skin really, really badly, which for someone who's like an edgy meme lord, man, who doesn't get offended by you liberal snowflake cucks, is pretty pathetic.
Yeah. And his inability to absorb information was just, he asks Destiny for an explanation. Then when he starts and Destiny explains it, he changes the subject and deflects and tries to make a joke out of all of it. It's like,
well, exactly. Yeah. Well, we've had this before. When I talked to him ages ago about trans rights and the Bill C-16, and I explained it all to him about, like, well, it's about protecting people legally. That's all. It's not about forcing you to call anyone, Z or Sir or whatever. And he just wouldn't have it. And I kept having to explain it to him over and over again because he doesn't absorb any information. And this man will be running for elected office. He won't win though. He's running in Scotland.
The thing is that the fans of these types of people, Baring and Sargon and Dankula and everyone else, will say that they're very likable. Like, oh, he makes me laugh or whatever. I like him or I can relate to him. And yet, but they don't care at all about the accuracy of what they're saying. And what is their accusation against us? Feelings, facts over feelings. But they're the ones who are listening to people and taking in information because they like them, not because they're right or correct or accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, we've had this with Sargon as well, haven't we? You can name Justice Democrat.
Yes.
Yeah, but he feels like there are a lot more. I don't tell me what you think the case. Show me some fucking numbers or fuck off. Like anyone. Yeah. And of course he was defending Fuentes, who literally said he was going to open empiricism. Well, you can't really make, strong claims about anything. It seems to me.
I started to go through the rest of that, 5-person conversation, whatever it was. And Sargon says some really dumb things later on. And I was thinking about maybe doing that for my Sunday show. But then I decided, maybe it's too soon. But I was going to talk about my Sunday show. But we can do that closer to the end. So I'm going to not talk about myself and throw it back to you. Otherwise, I'm going to try to find something else in the chat. So is there another point you wanted to make?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, did you see I put up a little Mirror of Irrational Disconnect sort of shit post video from Twitter on my thing with Carl going on about the bullying, the Nazis getting bullied?
Oh, no. Where did you put that up?
On my channel.
Oh,
you can
right.
Pull that up if you want to.
Oh, yeah, it was only a few seconds, like less than 2 minutes long, right? Yeah, I think I can.
It was like. Yeah. But whilst you look at that, I'll just plug tomorrow night. I'm going to be on Angie Speaks channel. We were going to be doing originally like a Brexit code video, but because Brexit keeps fucking changing, it's impossible to finalise or even begin to sort of narrow down a script. It's impossible. So we're just going to do a live stream, which will be relevant for about 2 days, and then something else will have happened. And well, that's the thing. Something else will have happened, but nothing will have changed. That's the problem. Is that the story keeps fucking developing, but nothing actually happens. So yeah, it's really rather annoying. But anyway, and I've totally forgotten. It's either at 1900 hours or 9 o'clock, and I can't remember which. It's either 7 or 9 p.m. UK time.
You might want to
either 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. on the East Coast. I don't know which one.
Check the video. It'll have a timestamp.
But I'll put up like a mirror of it on Saturday or whatever. So yeah. But anyway, this is I just put this up. It was like a little shitpost thing you put on Twitter, and I was like, "How can I have that on my channel?" Because it's just good receipts.
Okay, here we go.
Very interesting how I'm defending like the right wing left. I've
like you never had any principles at all.
Well, no, my principle is to actually stick up for the people being bullied.
Burn.
Yeah, the poor Nazis who are being bullied.
No, I don't know.
Guys,
this is topic 4
That's literally what you're saying.
I look at Han just laughing now. It's so embarrassing, Carl. They're literally just laughing at your stupidity.
Oh,
you gobshite.
I had this idea and then I got distracted and I didn't. I downloaded this because I wanted to get that clip of Carl saying that he stands up for people who are being bullied and just turn it into a little short video to share it on Twitter for anyone who gets bullied.
He actively goes out of his way to try and bully people.
Right, but if anyone's getting bullied, you can call on Backworldsman 1 with that clip saying, "You help people who are being bullied, please help me."
Well, I kept saying when him and Dankula were doing their shitpost thing against me, calling me a fascist, I kept saying to him, "Well, if I'm a fascist, it means I'm being bullied, so you're going to defend me, right?"
Oh, and you also had another big.
Back on him.
You had another big encounter on Twitter this week.
Yes, Paul Joseph Watson. Oh my God, I got him to literally ask me, "Was it? Are you going to apologise for wanting to kill Nazis?" To which you just have to respond, "No, we give medals out for that, don't we?" Huh? No, I'm not apologising for shit. So yeah, and that all I'll say is just go and check that out just for the ratio. It's a man with two YouTube files, and get like 100 likes and about 500 replies.
Oh gosh,
mainly ripping on him. Even right-wing people like, "This is not the point I wanted to make, is it, Paul?"
You're losing the
fight. But it was so butthurt, and I've worked out how to get Paul to show up in a conversation. Just bring up like, "Why are you taking a paycheck from a man who literally believes that Hillary Clinton is a literal demon, vampire pot-bellied goblins or gay frogs?" And then he shuts up because he doesn't want to have to actually address the fact that he's conspiracy theory knobhead. But yeah, he was so put hurt about that whole thing that 2 days later he came back at me with like, "Oh, there's a Labour person who," because that was all sparked by me posting to him, Dankula and Carl. There's like a UKIP person who wanted to literally execute all Remainer voters, wanted to hang them all.
What?
Which I said like, "Oh, you're so," and this wasn't just a councillor in one of the local councils here in Britain. And so I just said, "Oh, you've got a lovely, tolerant, free speech party here," just as a little kind of shitpost jibe. Like I said, we had that interaction, and then 2 days later, he came back to what was essentially a dead thread with a link to, "Oh, this person from the Labour Party said something about Jews. You've got a lovely, tolerant party." And I just said, "I'm not a member of the Labour Party. I've got nothing to defend here. Like what this person said is disgusting, yes, but it doesn't impact upon me at all. I'm not a member of any political party." Yeah.
Yeah. So
whereas you are all
nice one.
All UKIPers, so
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah. So we'll continue on. I'll hit play here.
Yeah, but when they come to bully you, I'll stick up.
You hear that, son? It says, "Well, when people come to bully you, you'll stick up for you, son, too."
Thank you. People do bully me. It's usually the Nazis, but it's okay.
As I understand it, I thought Heather Hayes or Hay or whatever her name was, I thought she died of a heart attack.
Yes. It looks like what happened is that he was shocked by seeing the car crash happening and had a heart attack. It's really sort of...
It's more that the alt-right are being blamed for someone having a heart attack. Someone with tremendously bad physical condition has a heart attack, and suddenly the alt-right has murdered someone. This is something I'm surprised the alt-right doesn't make a big deal of, to be honest. Yeah, but when they come to bully you, I'll stick up.
Oh, so can people see that in case it's about, yeah.
Yeah, but basically him going, yeah, Bolsonaro, the Brazilian president, basically saying he's going to, take out leftists and things and kill people who he politically disagrees with. And Carl's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. The left got this, coming."
Right. Now the backlash is here, he's saying.
So only you're not going to defend people on the left from bullying, you're actively going to support their murder. Thanks.
Before your stupid social justice feminine bullshit.
Can we just skip back a few seconds to that last tweet?
Sure.
Because I think that's rather telling from Carl.
Go ahead. What
There,
is
look.
there?
No.
This one? The last one. That one.
That one.
Yeah.
Look, Brazil isn't a friendly place. Now you're going to get Bolsonaro helicopter memes as he murders leftists. So apparently bullying the Nazis is not bad. Oh, sorry, it's terrible. But literally having a government entity murder people, you had that comment.
And he says, like, I'm not going to shed a tear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he sticks up for people who are bullied. No, he doesn't. He sticks up for Nazis.
Yeah.
Before your stupid social justice feminine bullshit, it didn't happen on this scale. It's crazy. This is a disease of the modern age. You are responsible for perpetuating it by disenfranchising these poor fucking guys who don't have any options left. You have to wonder what kind of system is producing them. And I tell you what, Lacey, it is a fucking feminist system that's doing this.
And now it's very interesting how I'm defending like the right wing left. The worst case scenario for the alt-right success in this endeavour is less intolerable to me and my family than the SJW success. And so from a tactical evaluation, I have to choose this angle. I have to try and explain to the alt-right that they can get what they want and they should take this gambit.
My principle is to actually stick up for the people being bullied.
Yeah, the poor Nazis who are being bullied.
No, I don't want to.
Guys, sorry. This is topic 4 now. Literally what you're saying.
Well, even if it means the end of liberal democracy.
That was great.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, she did as well. Okay. Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Yeah. So my subliminal messaging there worked.
Definitely worked. And you can tell what I've been watching because I did a Prager. Well, yeah, I've got your things up next. Then Time Team. This guy, Devin.
Yes, Time Team.
I watched him reacting to some Tim Minchin songs. That's really funny. And here's the Gotcha Boys, which we also had a question about. That was like way too much drama for one episode. That actually came out, from my opinion. There was more drama to do with the Gotcha Boys and like their beef with the drunken peasants and everything else for the one episode. It was a lot. So
yeah.
So I think we've gone the happy hour. I'm running out of things to say. Thanks to people in the chat, by the way. And if you did give me money and some random geek muted you, we're sorry. You can take your $2 back. But you've already done what's coming up next on your channel, so I guess that just leaves mine, unless there's something else you wanted to plug.
Well, yeah, on Sunday I'm going to be doing the next episode of Reclaiming Orwell with Hinky and Vinka.
And what's the book?
We do Homage to Catalonia, which is the story of time for the Republicans. That's anti-monarchists, not American Republicans in Spain, the Spanish Civil War.
How long did it take you to read it?
Which is an amazing. Well, I've read it 3-4 times before, but rereading it was a bit longer this time because I was taking notes and noting down passages and things because we're going to be doing some readings from it and stuff. But it's not like a massively long book, particularly. Okay. No, actually, none of his books are that long, to be honest. He's not overly. He's not Dickensian in his depth of pages.
He wasn't paid by the word.
No.
Right. And for my show on Sunday, last Sunday, I dug out.
Sorry, hang on. So, Christy, what you got coming up on your channel?
Thanks. Well, Kevin, so glad you asked. Last week.
Seamless thing like that.
Oh, if only we could hear you. I bet you said something funny.
I said that was a seamless segue, which became even more seamless because you couldn't fucking hear me. Jesus.
Last Sunday, I dug up some notes from when I used to teach qualitative research methods to get to people to think about language and how we use language and how it influences our perception.
I'll be honest, Kristi, I'm bored already.
And
I don't know what that means.
We went through some of the points of discourse analysis, and then later on,
it's not getting better.
We watched a video. I can't even remember what video it was, but we kind of applied some of the same principles to that video. And I decided I want to do that a little bit more. I want to like look at a PragerU video or look at some other kind of right-wing piece of, you probably produce propaganda? Shite, yeah. And take some things like, okay, how are they making things significant and insignificant? How are they doing politics and creating identities with their language? And not just like do a reaction, but kind of do like recreational social science, I guess, is what I think we're going to call it. So I'm going to try that out, doing some recreational social science as a bit for my weekend shows and see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, that will be interesting. Actually, it just occurred to me, because I've got the news on in silent, like on the TV, so I can see like headlines scrolling past and stuff, for any breaking news as it happens. And yeah, the picture of Julian Assange actually in the police van with his thumb up, like you'll see it. It'll be in all the papers. He's got the vibe, like, you know, when a despot goes into hiding and gets captured, like with Saddam Hussein or Radovan Karadzic or whatever. He's got that vibe to him, like he's just been pulled out of a hole and like he's about to go to The Hague and go to the criminal court for, you know, human rights abuses or something, fucking genocide. Like it's just I don't know if that was on purpose. Like he could have had a shave, couldn't he? He must have known this was going to happen. Yeah,
I'm sure they let hairdressers and barbers into the embassy if he can't leave. So just a little bit of personal care.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bit of grooming. Look your best. Stroll out with a bit of pride. Nope, I'm going to get carried out looking like a fucking hobo. Brilliant. Well done.
Yelling, but you were at my wedding, Denise. Oh, you were at my
Well, like I say, I can either confirm or deny that that's what he was shouting in London. No, it's not. That's state secrets or something. I don't know.
And we can also wish Matthew Doctor a happy birthday. He's in the chat and it's his birthday, and people are wishing him
happy 21st birthday.
Alles gut.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Alles gut zum Geburtstag.
That's racist. I mean, I'm not saying that's as bad as what Candice said, but because I didn't understand it, I can't say it wasn't.
Well, I'll do a translation for you afterwards. All right. So I think, that's the end of the show. It's been fun, Kevin. It's been...
Is it ever really the end of the show?
No.
Does this show ever end, or does it just...
Does
go
Brexit
on forever?
Ever end? It's the never-ending Brexit. I wanted to do that bit like an hour ago, but you kept interrupting my attempts to set up the never-ending story part so I could get to the song punchline.
Oh, well, you've got to crowbar that shit in there.
Well, I did.
You've got. Well, you indeed. Yeah. You've got too much pride or taste to actually make that kind of pun work effectively on time. Whereas I don't care. Force the fucking pun on the world. That's
just
happening.
Keep going.
You don't have a choice in this.
Plow right through.
The pun is happening. Deal with it.
Well, this
exactly.
For people who hung around all the way to the end, they got to hear me break out in song. So, there's that.
And people at the start just missed me breaking out into song as well. So
yeah, that's true. We started with music and we ended with music because, as I said before, do a little dance, make a little love. You only do it the one time.
Through a yawn.
Well, at least you got your timing right. All right, this has gone into silliness. Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for watching to the end. This is the best bits are always at the end. Check out Kevin's stuff going on tomorrow night at either 9 o'clock or 2 in the afternoon. Who knows? But he's got that going on. You've got a Sunday thing. I got a Sunday thing. So we were going to, this is just a break, and we'll see us all again very soon. I've been Christy. The chat's been awesome. People in the future watching have been awesome.
No, it hasn't.
Kevin's audio has been a bitch tonight. Goodbye from me, and goodbye from Sergeant Kev. No, it's DCI Kev.
Oh, well, there's no way I'm going to...
No, DCI Kev.
Goodbye from... No, well, you've now said lots of stuff. Do it again and do it properly. The bit is too edited here. Come on now.
Goodbye from me and goodbye from DCI Kev. Say goodbye, DCI Kev.
Goodbye, DCI Kev.
We got there in the end. All right. Bye.